Hey guys, how's it going? So today I just quickly want to share a game with you guys. I received code for the game along with a couple of bucks to check the game out. Normally I don't check out demos, but I mean, if I'm gonna get paid to check a demo out, then I absolutely will. And the game is a tower defense game. I actually like tower defense games. I've reviewed several tower defense games on my channel, like Sanctum 2. Sanctum 2 is actually a game that I really like. I'm also a fan of games like Dungeon Defenders, actually. The older Dungeon Defenders, not the new Dungeon Defenders. I'm not a fan of the new Dungeon Defenders. But anyway, this game is kind of like Dungeon Defenders, where you have multiple people who play together to defend against waves of enemies. So it's pretty much like Dungeon Defenders. There's also a couple of other games like, I think the one's name was Orcs Must Die, something like that, which is also pretty much like this. Sanctum 2, I think you can also play multiplayer, even though I played and finished Sanctum 2 solo. And it's a game that I would definitely recommend if you like this type of game where you defend against waves of enemies and you need to build towers and stuff like that. So the game is very similar to that, except this game is top down, so you basically play the game from the top down perspective, obviously, as you can see. And otherwise than that, you have a hero. There are 4 different heroes in the game currently, and you have 4 different abilities, and you can build 4 different buildings. So you can build a regular tower that just shoots, and then you can build a wall, and you can build a trap, like on the ground, a trap, and you can build a building that gives an aura. So there's aura building, shooting building, wall, and traps. And every hero can build different elements of those buildings. So right here in the gameplay, I am a freezing dude, like a ice dude. So my traps that I place on the ground will freeze, and my towers will also freeze and slow, whereas the other characters have different elements. And there you can see I just froze the dude. So you have different abilities, and your towers are different for each of the different heroes. That's actually pretty interesting. That's something that you don't see a whole lot. Usually when you choose a hero, only your hero will differ, but in this game the different heroes have different towers, different element towers as well, which the other heroes don't have. So that's actually pretty interesting. It's something that I definitely have not seen yet. Other games like this, like I already said, are Dungeon Defenders, and then also Orcs Must Die. There's also Bloons. I actually really like Bloons. Like, I've played a lot of Bloons TD 6, but Bloons TD 6, you do actually have a cooperative mode in Bloons TD 6, but I believe it's only with one person. Like in this game, you are 4 people together, or actually 3 people. You're 3 people together. And in Bloons TD, you can play cooperative, but it's only with 2 people, with 1 person, you and 1 person, as far as I know. And you also get some other stuff like Bloons Battles, I believe it's called, Bloons Battles, where there's PvP. In this game there's not PvP. In this game so far there's only the cooperative mode that you're seeing here, but like I said, it's a demo. It's only a demo right now, so it's technically not even in early access yet. The game is not even released in early access yet, so I'm sure they will still work on additional modes, like maybe a PvP battle, like Bloons Battles has. It's called Bloons Versus or Bloons Battles, I can't remember. But anyway, the game might have a PvP mode eventually. Currently it just has the cooperative mode. And yeah, basically your objective is to cooperatively defend that big building you see there in the left side of the screen. You need to defend that big building, and each player has their own resources, so you don't share resources. So you can build the way you want, and the other players don't take any of your resources or anything like that. So basically you can just choose a side, like left or right or top or bottom, and then you just need to defend that side as good as possible. And you can also obviously help your teammates as well. Like I said, there's auras that you can share with your teammates. You can also share some of your abilities. There you can see that little green dude right there to my right is the other player, and the other guy is down there to the bottom right. So you can share abilities, you can help your teammates and stuff like that. The game right now doesn't have very good mazing. So obviously in a lot of these types of games you can maze, like for instance in Bloons. If you've played Bloons, you can maze, so you can place walls or place towers in a maze format, so that the enemies have to walk through your maze, and the longer your maze, the longer they will take to reach your main objective. This game does have mazing to a certain extent, but I've noticed that they will attack your buildings as well. You will see that later in the video. There is a lot of enemies just attacking the buildings. So I think some of the enemies attack buildings and some of them don't attack buildings. I'm not 100% sure. Right now, the information that the developer provides to the player in the game is not very flushed out. So, like for instance, they don't really provide stats on the enemies. Like in a lot of games, they will tell you what kind of armor each enemy has, how much HP each enemy has, the abilities, the movement speed of each enemy. Some enemies fly, some enemies are on the ground usually. In this game, all of the enemies are on the ground, so I have not yet encountered any enemies that are able to fly. But like I said, the game is still in a demo status, I guess I can say. So perhaps later in the development of the game, the developers will add flying enemies as well, perhaps. But yeah, the game is pretty cool. It's very rough right now, as you would expect from a demo game. You know, it's not even in early access yet. The developers are going to take part in the Steam Next festival. Obviously, Steam Next Festival showcases games that are not yet released and only in a demo stage, I guess I can say. So you can actually play the game right now. The Steam page of the game is up, and you can play the game right now, but like I say, it's a little bit rough right now. Sometimes the enemies follow the pathing, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just start attacking your stuff, and I would really like to know when that switch over period is. You know, when do the enemies decide they attack, and when do the enemies decide they don't attack, you know? So there's a lot of stuff that still needs to be worked on. The hitboxes of the heroes also need to be worked on. Like, I can't move in between buildings, so you really need to be cautious of where you place your buildings. If you place your buildings too close to one another, then you won't be able to walk between them. Like there at the top left, I basically blocked off that entire area with walls, and I can't walk over there. Even if I wanted to, the game's pathing and the hitboxes of the heroes don't allow you to walk. Like I can't even walk over there to the left. So that's something that I would like to see changed, but obviously, like I said, it's only a demo. I'm certain they will work on the minutiae, the finer details of the game as development progresses. The game is still pretty rough. But I mean, it's fun. You have to play with other players. So solo right now, you can't play the game solo. There is no difficulty scaling right now in the game. So normally if you play a co-op game like this, like Dungeon Defenders or anything like that, you would normally, if there's one player in the game, have a set amount of enemies. And if there's 2 players, then you would double those enemies. If there's 3 enemies, you will triple those enemies. Or if there's 3 players, you will triple the enemies. Or sometimes they will just scale up the health or the armor of the enemies as well. The more players there are, the more armor or health the enemies will have. Instead of making them more, they simply make them more difficult. And this game doesn't yet have any of that. So you literally must be 3 people, otherwise you will not be able to finish a single match with 1 or 2 people. You will see we are almost near the end, and our base gets pounded pretty hard near the end. These skeletons with these big fists come at the end, and they just bust through your base. So, and we are 3 players, so if you were 2 players or 1 player, you would not be able to defend against it. So another thing that I would like to see is scalable difficulty, so that you can play the game as a solo, or 2 people, or 3 people, or whatever, you know. But yeah, the game is completely playable right now with 3 people. You can definitely play with friends, and like I said, the game is currently available in the demo stage, so it's free. It's free to play. I also do believe that the game, once it fully releases, or once it releases into early access, will be free to play. So the game will work on a free to play system. Here you can see the final boss of the match comes, and he's really powerful. You can see there at the bottom left, my 2 allies are also continuously shooting against the boss, and he fortunately walked right into my 5 or 6 upgraded arrow towers. You can see there at the left all of those towers there are upgraded to the max level. You can also upgrade your barriers, you can upgrade your towers, you can upgrade your traps. So there's also a lot of upgrading that you can do, and then at the end of the game you gain some experience and you gain some loot. The game uses Sparkite, which is like a currency that you can use to upgrade abilities and stuff like that. You can upgrade your hero. Every hero gains experience separately. So you can be level 10 with one hero and only level 1 with the other heroes. So you basically have to choose the hero that you enjoy the most and then stick to that hero. So you get different consumables or resources at the end of every match, and then you can spend those. You can see there's different outfits, legendary, epic, rare, uncommon outfits. I'm not sure if it actually enhances the abilities of the heroes. The game doesn't provide you with any information with regards to that. And then you can also upgrade your towers. Each tower can be upgraded 5 times in 2 different ways. So there's 2 different choices on 5 different levels. And like I said, your aura tower, arrow tower, wall tower, and the trap tower can all each be upgraded in the same fashion. So it's pretty cool. I really think that the game will, once it's a little bit more progressed and a little bit more development time has been spent on it, I definitely think that this can be a cool co-op experience, similar to what Bloons TD and Bloons Battles and Dungeon Defenders and those types of games have. So yeah, you can check out the game. I will leave a link to the Steam page in the description below. Like I said, the game is currently playable, but it is rough right now. But obviously the game will and is being developed, actively developed. So you can really just go upwards from here. The game is already playable. I haven't yet encountered any game-breaking bugs or any enemies that just ignore the pathing or anything like that, except some of the enemies, like I said, can attack your buildings, and the game doesn't provide you with any information with regards to which enemies can attack your buildings, you know. So that's just something that I would like to see made more clear, you know. But as you saw here, you saw the entire match. I played a bunch of different matches. This is just one of the matches. It's absolutely fine, you know. You can play from the beginning to the end. An average match takes about 10-15 minutes, and you basically rinse and repeat, you know. You increase your level of your hero, you can upgrade your hero's abilities. There are like consumables and stuff like that, like I showed you here at the end. Like if we look there, there's orbs, fragments, outfits, there's cosmetics. So obviously, like I said, the game is going to be free to play, so probably the game is going to be selling some cosmetics, I'm guessing. Yeah, that's basically, I think, the monetization model that the game is going to be using. So yeah, guys, like I said, I will leave a link to the game in the description below, and you guys can check it out if you want to. Once the game is actually released, like early access or whatever, I will probably be checking the game out again. So yeah guys, that is pretty much it. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.